Yeah.
So listen, so I've been checking out the live from the crib sessions.
Yeah.
So I'm loving that. How did y'all come to that, and how's that working out?
Well,
What's your feeling about that?
well, we knew we had to do something, and we're sitting here, one bored to death trying to figure out what. I think we missed it. That's the first thing, being able to perform in that way, and we knew again there's so much. Wanted to take people's minds off of all of the confusion, madness,
Yeah.
and we knew that was an easy way. And Dana wanted to try some new technology and stuff he has. Let's just try it and see what happens.
Right.
And wow, so we did it, and it really was to just take people's minds off of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear one more thing about Corona, Hennessy, whatever.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just so that's how it started. So now we're gonna do do a series, just me at the piano with different songs, and we'll just pop up and do those. Not do them every week because we're still trying to finish albums and
Right.
find our sense of normalcy in this chaos.
Yeah.
Some days we get up at 2:00. We're like, have I been in the bed
Right.
all day?
Right.
And it's just your
Yeah.
clock is off. Everything is weird. So I don't know. Just and being gracious. I'm trying to be gracious with myself and not be too hard on myself right now because I am confused,
Yeah.
tiny bit scared, but hopeful.
Yeah.
As well, and also taking advantage of this time that we'll never ever have again in our lifetimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where everything just pauses, it just stops.
Yeah.
Do this again.
Well, I mean, it's been great. We were talking earlier off camera about your family, your kids.
Yeah.
Drew and Evan are home.
Yes.
So tell me how they're doing and what's up with that.
Dana, you go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Well, like I said, we've just been here, cooking and writing and recording music.
Working with Evan in class because he's still in class.
Yeah. Our two kids are home from college, and that's a transition for them.
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit, and then we have one that's a senior in high school. And it's kind of, he says he doesn't care, man, but prom is canceled, graduation ceremony is canceled, so it's just kind of a different vibe. He swears that, I don't care, but I got to think that, kind of missing out on some of the, the pageantry that is senior year, you know what I mean?
The rite of passage that goes along with,
right,
being 17 or 18, graduating from high school.
Right.
It's just, this is rough for all of us.
So how's it impacting your creativity? Are you writing more? Are you writing different?
Talking about that,
I would say we're definitely writing and recording more. I mean, the thing that's really cool, and my wife said a few minutes ago, is like, this is this doesn't really happen for artists, not artists like us. Like we're usually home for 4 or 5 days at the most, and then you're at the airport and you're some other city, and then you're home for a couple of days trying to recuperate, wash some clothes, and you're back out. So it's rare that we get this time to really like get in a vibe and really just record. Thankfully, when we bought this home a little over 2 years ago, and we moved all our studio and all that stuff into the home. So I'm completely self-contained here, which is cool.
Yeah.
And so there is a silver lining, and for us, that's what it is. Being home, enjoying this house that we bought. That this is the most time we ever spent in.
This is the most time.
Yeah. And I found myself the other day. It's like I'm just gonna like this dining room. I think we've had dinner in here maybe
3 times.
3 times, 2 times in 2 years. So, and then the other day I just came in here and I just sat in here. It's like, man, this is the most time I've ever spent in this room.
Right.
So
Right.
doing stuff like that for us is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Could you hand me that real quick? I just want to show everybody. Hand me those right there.
What you?
Yeah, right there. I just want to show Henry. Yeah, give me that right there. So, and he's spending time in this room because I asked him to put these hooks up. He hasn't put these hooks up for my curtains yet.
For your curtains? Come on, man. You got a Phillips head screwdriver somewhere.
Yeah, I got.
You don't want me to do it because when I do it, I'm not looking for studs or anything. I don't care. I just want it up.
She was hammered. Was like, you can't do that.
So hopefully he'll go ahead and get these.
We're gonna get it.
We're gonna get it done.
We got some curtains to put up and all that. Yeah, take that. Give me that. All right.
Well, let's go back to the beginning for a second. Avery, I know Chester, PA is home.
Yeah.
And Dana, it's Oakland, right?
Oakland, California. That's right.
So, tell me what it's like, sort of being from Chester, PA, and then finding your way to Atlanta to go to Spelman.
It's about 5 people in Chester, PA. The whole population, me, my mom, dad, my siblings. That's it.
That's it.
We were it. No, small town, but it was my parents were like the unofficial mayors of the city. Everybody was at our house all of the time. And Chester's only 9 miles south of Philly. So,
right.
When I say, I usually say Philly because that's,
right.
But Chester, PA is where I fell in love with gospel music, my home, where my parents, exposed me to before the whole gospel thing really started. I was listening to R&B hard because they were always having house parties.
Right.
That, so Dana and I were talking about this last week, the transition from home to Atlanta. For me, Atlanta had all the things I'd ever heard was Atlanta is the Black Mecca. That's it. You gotta go. My brother went to Morehouse, so he's like, you don't have anywhere else to go but to Spelman.
Right.
And when I got here, I didn't see any sidewalks. I was like, this is interesting. There's red clay. What is that? And if you stay still too long, the ants are going to eat. They're going to just eat your very skin off.
Right.
But there was something Atlanta represented for me. God bless this man's name. I'm about to say, God bless him. He brings so much to us. What Bill Cosby portrayed for us on the Cosby Show, it's just the real thing. It's the truth.
Pre
right.
Cosby Show Bill,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. But I have to, for the sake of this conversation, if we're able to separate, that to say that coming to Atlanta, being at Spelman was everything that I had hoped it was, even more. But the desire, the taste in my mouth to be here was because of watching the Cosby Show. It's the truth.
For sure.
Because my parents weren't college. My mother went to Tuskegee for a year.
Okay.
And was injured, and my grandfather wouldn't let her go back.
Oh, wow.
My father didn't go to college. He went to the Army, came out, started working. So again, for me, the Cosby Show was it. Mm-hmm. And for me, Denise, her name's Denise.
Right.
Oh, I've got to go. My name's Denise. I've got to go. I don't know why they, but the truth, it was so relatable. It was so important to my development.
Yeah, it was a big deal when my sister had a little bird, a cockatiel named Dr. Huxtable. So it was super influential.
It was. And you have to say the same thing, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
different world.
For me, yeah, the Cosby. So just 100% transparency. I came from a very working class kind of family. Good, salt of the earth kind of working class people. Not first generation college graduate.
Yeah.
Or college attendee and graduate for me. And so I really didn't have any context. To be honest, I didn't even know what Black colleges were.
Wow.
Until the Cosby Show in the real world.
Yeah.
Well, maybe even so. No, I take that
School
back.
days.
School days.
School days.
Yeah.
Is really what kind of. It's like, wait, so there's a school with just Black people,
and they run around wearing biker shorts all the time.
What? Oh wow!
You do that?
Yeah, and so I was very interested by that. And then once I saw in the Cosby Show, he used to always wear different sweatshirts. I got into the sweatshirts, and then I started learning about the schools. And then when A Different World came on, I was like, yeah, I gotta
go.
Yeah. And coming to Atlanta from Oakland, as you could imagine, was a huge transition for me.
Sure.
And so I wasn't fortunate enough to visit Morehouse, much less Atlanta, before I came to go to school. And so my frame of reference in terms of universities or colleges were, Cal Berkeley, Stanford,
yep.
Even Cal State Hayward or UCSF. And so when I got to Morehouse, it was a little bit of, a little different than what I expected.
Right.
And I never forget, like, so I pulled up to the campus, me and my mom pulled up to the campus, and it had rained the night before, construction was going on. I had on some crispy, brand new first day of school, brand new K-Swiss. And I stepped out in that red mud. And I think that might have been the first time I cussed in front of my mom. And she was like, hey, listen, just and the Southern thing was kind of hard for me to really kind of understand. And she was like, look, just give it 1 year, see what you think. If you don't feel it, And I was like, all right. And I wasn't feeling it until I went to a party at there was this roller skating rink called Screaming Wheels.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about that, Henry,
Come on now.
And they picked you up on a bus. The Florida Club had a party there, and they was playing Just Luke.
Just Luke.
It. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay. I think I'm gonna be able to make it. I think I'll make it through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was holy. I didn't do all that stuff. I didn't take those buses to clubs. I took the buses to church.
Yeah, I don't know. Something tells me you were up in the Apache Cafe a little bit.
Thank you, Lord.
So tell me, okay, so out of college, what was the plan? What was the, because I know, Avery, you weren't always planning to do this full time.
No, I didn't know what I was. I knew it was going to be something with music. I just didn't know what it was. And right out of school, and I was piano major at Spelman. But right out of school, I had the nerve to go and get a job at SunTrust.
Ah.
The very nice people there, they said, ma'am, you don't have to come back. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're not great at this stuff. I had the nerve to try it again. I had a good friend at Zion Hill who turned me on to a job at Bank of America. Ma'am, don't worry about it. Don't come back. I mean, I swear, I think both of those jobs together, I lasted 3 weeks. So I had no idea what I was doing. You talk about just moving through life, the grace of God carrying me. So I've never really had a corporate gig. I taught a little bit, but I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And ended up becoming the minister of music of a church. And then that's where Dana and I became reacquainted because we knew each other, but we started working together. And I'm supposed to be getting ready for the sermonic selection. I'm in my office in the back writing songs.
Oh, wow.
Dana comes to the back and he was like, you should really do something with this. Y'all, it was me and my Spelman sister, Maya Wilson.
Okay.
I should do something. And that's how the AverySunshine thing really took off.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that?
Yes,
you came in the
right.
back. You said you heard us singing and you came back.
Yeah.
Now he was finishing the sermon, and we in the back. He looking for some shout music.
Right. Dana, you leaving church on your way to the club?
Yeah. Often, really.
Okay.
Yeah. There were literally times when the AverySunshine thing first started rolling that we would be like Friday, Saturday, somewhere out touring, like out of state. We would do a show.
Yes.
Saturday night, drive all night,
changing the car,
sleep in the parking lot at the church for 45 minutes, and then walk into service.
You know, and I have to just super big up to y'all's Morehouse brother, Raphael Warnock, Pastor Ebenezer, who worked with us in our schedule, who was never made us feel bad about what we were doing, and was just always welcoming. Y'all here? You got here by 8? Let's get it.
Yeah.
I had a good friend in Chicago who was telling me that the pastor of his church said, you know, hey, I know you're on lockdown, but if you can't be here on Sunday, I'll let you know if your job is still available on Monday.
How dare you?
And he said, you know what? God bless you, and you can keep the job. You play organ.
You can keep the COVID and check.
Yeah, you play the organ, Pastor. Good.
Yeah. Good that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Dr.
Warnock, I needed to make sure that we mentioned his name.
Yeah, Dr. Warnock was always.
Who is running for Senate right now?
Yeah. He always was flexible to say, hey, just make sure you have somebody in your place, so you let somebody know, so we can make arrangements, and it's all good. I get it. Because he also understood that us doing well, you know, from a business standpoint, us doing well also was good for the church.
Absolutely.
You
know? Yeah. So you all know my dad pastored a church for a long time, and he had a similar relationship with Richard Smallwood.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So Richard would kind of be in and out a bit, and it was always very, you know, collaborative. And you know, he understood that, you know, Richard needed to build his career.
Yeah.
And but welcomed him to church on Sunday as well. So, you know, and a lot of people don't know. My favorite AverySunshine song is Stalk You.
Wait, you gonna go there without telling folks how that we family, like for real, like you were in the studio with us, Make It Was our first album?
I think so,
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. I forgot about that.
I didn't forget. David and Mike.
Yeah.
So, folks, he's a part of the fabric of our being and our just the support and the love from the beginning. So now you can go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure it's clear.
So no, and I appreciate that. And it's a big deal to me too, because and I often think about that, how often we would have conversations. I'd be driving from Atlanta to Nashville. Before even the museum, it was the bus company. And you were working on the AverySunshine project.
Yeah.
At that time. And
that's right.
Really figuring out the business, you know, the business of AverySunshine when I was figuring out the business of being an entrepreneur in Nashville.
How about that?
Yeah, so we were really together, you know, in this thing. So that's why I've always been so appreciative of your support of the museum, because we've been in it together, and y'all will show up at the last minute when we call for something if you can make it work.
Anytime. We're supposed to.
And
we're supposed to do that for each other. We're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, I heard you say Stalker are you kidding?
No.
Let me tell you how that song starts. So that was the first song so I had, when I double talk my mother, you always double talk, so I'm saying a bunch of stuff at the same time, but I had a Nokia phone. The Nokia phone that when you had to hit, if you wanted a T, you got to hit the 9 76 times to get it, right? So I recorded the hook on this small keyboard. I sang it, I can't, just a little bit on that Nokia phone, and I sent it to Dana. Dana sent back the verses and the bridge in no time flat from his Nokia phone to my, I don't know how his fingers were moving.
I was cold on, what did they call it? The QWERTY, what did it call it?
Right, QWERTY keyboard.
I was cold on it. I was cold-blooded, yeah.
Listen, though, but he was still working at Philips.
Wow.
Was it Philips or somewhere else?
I can't remember. I was doing the corporate America.
He was doing the corporate thing. So I don't know what he was doing, or driving, whatever, but he sent it to me.
I wasn't driving.
He clicked.
Was not driving.
He sent it to me. Next thing I know, he's like, my homie's going to produce it. Then the next thing was, it's being released in Japan. How do you want your name in the liner notes? I was like, I don't know. Sure. AverySunshine.
Right.
That's how Stalker was the impetus for AverySunshine. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
That's a good SAT word too.
Wow.
I can't spell, so I'm not.
You can spell, sweetheart.
I'm a horrible speller.
Give me my wine back. I bet you could spell if you gave me my wine back.
How about?
So say a little bit more about creating the AverySunshine album, though. So that was deep. You're right. I do remember being in the studio with you guys and kind of working through some of it. And
it feels like it happened so fast. That's what's so amazing with time, y'all. When you're in it, it feels like it's moving slow. But then you look back, it's like 20 years have gone by, or 10 years have gone by. Yeah, I learned a lot. We had a partner at that time.
We did, yeah. A guy we learned a lot from, and he believed in us and kind of put a little bit of a resource, and really more than the resources, just he made us believe that we had it. And that was part of what kind of pushed us to really get it done.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we kind of sat down, and it was just a really honest album with, we just made what we thought would be good. But we just really believed it, and we really believed that, we had something to say, and that people would, we thought that people would appreciate it.
I think you believed it more than I did, because I didn't. And you have to be honest, I was just kind of going along with it. I knew I wanted to sing. I wanted to write music. I loved doing it with him. And it was like, okay, whatever you say. Let's do, if this is what it's going to be. Wow. You talk about God sending me a miracle in my husband. I didn't even realize I was going along with it. I didn't even. It's so opposite of my personality. What? I need receipts. What? What? I did none of that. He said, "Let's go. Let's do it like this." I just did it. And like you said, I really didn't even believe. I didn't get it until we started getting gigs overseas, and we started doing shows here, and people were coming to them, and then you get somebody singing your song, or somebody sending you a note saying how it blessed their lives. And it's like, wow.
Like I remember in college being a musician and thinking like, if I could just play, gigs and travel, maybe play some shows, maybe play at the Jazz Cafe in London,
right?
Man, I would be so happy. And we did that like in the first year,
right?
Or probably less. I mean, the first album came out, and I think some of the first gigs we had were in London at the Jazz Cafe. And shortly thereafter, we're at Royal Albert Hall with B.B. King.
Opening for B.B. King.
And if you don't know what that venue is, Google it. I mean,
I have to find the picture.
Venue.
You won't believe it.
And so fast forward to now, I find myself having to check us on, what? Oh my God, how much? Oh no, we're not doing that. How much? Oh, you want us to do what? Oh my. What's this?
Oh, I don't change my mind for that.
Yeah. Oh no. I don't. And so what we have to remind ourselves is that like we are living, literally living a dream. We play music for a living, and are doing better than what we were doing, you know,
when we were
whatever
working,
else we were
when
doing.
We were working for
other people,
other folks.
So we have to remind ourselves it's a super blessing. It should be much easier. Some stuff you do need to say, I can't do can't do that, you know.
Right.
But there's so many things that people literally would, you know, kill. People would literally kill to do some of the, you know, to do the stuff that we do for a living.
I just wanted to add to that when you were talking about when you don't know, when you have no expectations. The hardest album for me to do was our third album.
Okay.
Because the second album had the #1, Call My Name, on it.
Right.
That third album, I was scuffling.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this stuff is happening. It's happening so fast. And I think the song was 8 or 9 weeks. It was #1. It knocked Sam Smith's song out. And I know that specifically because my mother called me. We were flying back from the Netherlands or somewhere. And she, Denise, listen here, you didn't knock that boy out. You #1 now. Never forget that. So when we go to do, we would get questions like, so when's your next album? We're like, oh my God, we hadn't even thought about it. We've been touring so much.
Right.
So then we get into the studio and I'm like the WB Frog. Nothing. And Dana's frustrated because it comes easily for him. He's very, very quick. But it was really, really hard. So now with this album, the writing started when my dad died, which was a year ago. And I didn't have a choice because I needed to get it out, right? So one of the first songs is entitled Boomerang, and you would not believe we have one of our heroes playing on it with us. His name is Nathan East.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
someone we need to introduce to the museum, by the way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But Nathan East, some of his, from Eric Clapton to Michael Jackson to Anita Baker, it's his bass that you hear on the recordings. Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Easy Lover with Phil Collins and Philip Bailey. That's him.
Right.
He actually wrote that with them. So to go from being scared to death to do another album to Dad dying, it's like, I don't even care what's happening now. Whatever I feel like doing, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And so still going in and out of that. Now I'm at another space, that transition, like with Dad, this whole COVID thing is another transition. It's like, hey, piss or get up off the pot.
Yeah.
It's going to, no, but for real, you're going to see who's really about it. This time that you're at home, either you're going to sit there and watch Netflix day in or day out, or you're going to decide to get up, get on that Peloton and run and then make a schedule for yourself and get some stuff done. For real.
Yeah, real. So this morning for me, well, let me back up and say a really good friend of mine, Eric Roberson, and I think we may have said this earlier, but he was like, man, this is like one of the most amazing times. Like, when else in your life is this going to happen? This is an amazing time for artists. Everything is on pause.
Yep.
Everything. You have everything that you need. You should be recording, just going crazy in the studio, because what else do you have to do?
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so we have so many modern luxuries / distractions that we can fill our time with things that at the end of this, whatever, 30 days, 45 days, 2 months, whatever it's going to be, we can walk out of it with you up on everything on Netflix, you finish the whole internet, but you won't have anything to show for it.
Absolutely.
So for us, I was about it at first, and that kind of fell off. But this morning, I was really just clear that if we walk out of this and we don't have a whole bunch of songs and a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of business plans and learn how to edit some videos or do some other skill pertinent to our craft, that we will be doing ourselves a disservice. And
Absolutely.
that is the silver lining. Not watching CNN and being critical of every single thing that our leadership, right, wrong, or indifferent, probably mostly wrong, but
all wrong.
But we can get caught into that, and we'll walk out of this thing the same or behind where we were when we started. So we're not gonna let that happen.
I'd toast to that, because you just said a word, preacher.
I gotta get some more wine.
You didn't drink all the wine.
So let me go refill. You talk some.
So is the next album gonna be a double album?
It might. It might just be. We've got 6 songs done. We're finishing 3 tonight. Tomorrow we just got some new tunes that some folks have sent to us. We're just gonna do everything we have and get it done and not fool around with it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a visual album too. So every song will have a video. Even if the video is here at the house because we couldn't get out.
Right.
So we're thanks to my husband for making sure I don't say. But you got to be honest though, just a not a musician thing, but just on some real like couples thing real quick. I'll be cleaning toilets and washing dishes and washing clothes. Sometimes I don't feel like going down to the studio.
I hear you, but the clothes and we at home.
There's only so much of that. I can't deal with too much of that. Mm-hmm. Have you washed clothes since we've been on?
I have not. I gotta wash.
That's a blessing, brother. Dana, how about you, man? Are you working on some music too, though, right?
Yeah. So, yes, I have been. So what's interesting is I came from like a creative production standpoint, like in college and thereafter, I was into creating music for, making songs, writing songs, and sending them to people. But then when I started working on the AverySunshine project, I was so into that I kind of got away from it.
Yeah.
But in the last, even that whole time, and certainly in the last couple of years, I've just been, I just got these tracks that it's probably not right for AverySunshine. And interestingly enough, there was a young man by the name of Rob Milton.
We would go to Whole Foods.
Right? Yeah, he actually worked at Whole Foods, and so every time I was at Whole Foods, he'd be like, he was a checker. He'd be like, "Come to my line," and he would be telling me about his project and this and that, and I know what you do and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, cool. So one day I was like, man, we should just connect up, man. Let's connect up. And I think it was like on a Sunday. And I was just playing him like these kind of like throwaway ideas that I had. He was like, wow, what is that? I was like, this is an idea. He's like, play another one. So I played him about 6 or 7 songs. And that was a Sunday. Wednesday, he sent back 6 or 7 songs that were done.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. So,
and they're great.
Yeah.
Not no foolishness. I mean, these songs are great.
So he was like, well, I'm part of this group and it's called Cousin, and it would be dope. You should be part of the group. And I was like, cool,
right. So when are we gonna hear more from? Is Cousin? Is that the group? Is that?
Yeah, that's the group. Yeah.
Cousin put some music out.
Yeah. So we're kind of figuring out what that looks like now. We put out an EP a few months ago, and entitled Cousin Volume 2.
Okay.
And it's done really well. We've been doing a few small performances and such, and we're just trying to find the timing for the next releases. But yeah, it's been really, really fun and really kind of artistically expansive for me, expanding, or if that's, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Where can we find that stuff? Is it on SoundCloud or iTunes?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, it's everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. We're looking forward to the museum opening in September.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm hoping we can get you guys up here to be a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Done deal.
You already know.
We're there, man.
All right, absolutely. Well, what else you want to tell your fans that are watching?
We want to tell them to be sure to support the museum in any way they can, because anybody telling our stories and telling the true stories is a hero, and we ought to be grateful for for all the work that you've done, and everybody working with NMAAM is doing to tell our stories. What do you say? For all by us instead of for us by us?
Right.
For all by us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how it has to be.
Yeah.
And so we thank you, and anybody listening, like I said, clearly support Avery Sunshine.
Yes.
And look for our new album, Betting My Wishes, that will be out as soon as we get out of COVID land.
Right.
Or maybe before. And then check us out, on these shows at the crib, the piano series, and sometimes might be the guitar series with Dana.
Yeah. And if I could add on, African American music is American music.
That's right.
So thank you, Henry.
Absolutely.
Thank you to the museum for thinking enough of us to be a part of it.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
And we'll
a
do
call
everything
away.
We can. Yeah, we're a call away.
A video call away.
Right. Well, thank y'all for being such great friends. Appreciate it. Love y'all very much.
We love you. Congratulations, brother. Here's to you. There's nothing more in my glass, but just we love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.